Welcome to Conversations. I'm Muqtadar Khan, your host, and today I'm going to talk to you about President Donald Trump's reactions to the shooting, the tragic shooting of two West Virginian National Guards in Washington, D.C. One of them, Sarah Beckman, expired. She passed away, this young woman. It's truly a tragedy. She was just doing her job, and this guy came all the way from the state of Washington, drove across the country, and then shot her. Another guardsman who is in critical condition. So this was an Afghan who had received political asylum to the United States. He had received the political asylum essentially during the Trump administration, and the Trump administration is the one which gave him the asylum. But he was granted this asylum because he had worked with the United States. He had worked for the CIA in Afghanistan as one of those parallel forces that the US government had created to fight terrorists and extremists, to fight the Taliban, ISIS, and Al Qaeda inside Afghanistan. So, in many ways, there are serious question marks about him. I mean, he worked with the US, so how could he be someone that people generally say, oh, he's a radical Muslim and radical terrorist? I mean, he was working with, obviously, the United States, with a liberal democracy in Afghanistan. So this guy, it's not very clear why he did it yet. There are no motives announced. Donald Trump called it an act of terrorism, but the prosecutors are charging him with first-degree murder because it's premeditated. He intended to kill them and drove across the country to kill them. So he's been charged with essentially as a criminal yet, and he's in their custody, but we have not received any clarity on his motivations. But anyway, we'll see as the law progresses, we will get a better idea of what he intended to do, whether his act was terrorism, was it a mental health issue, or what was the reason why he had to drive all the way to Washington, D.C. and shoot these two National Guards people. But Donald Trump reacted in a very, shall we say, in a very, I don't know what word to use to describe it other than to say it was a massively overreaction. So the first thing he did was completely stopped processing all asylum applications by Afghans. So anybody who is of Afghan nationality, of Afghan origin, has been really stopped from so there are no applications on that. And then he decided to announce. So this is his first announcement, really, was Trump says US permanently pause migration from all third world countries after DC shooting. This is incredible. You know, he says that from all third world countries, and of course he exempts India as well as Pakistan. Uh, Actually, not from this. He does not exempt India. He had another announcement. Let me share that with you. He says, has all asylum decisions after National Guard shooting. And then he made another announcement where he said that people who have green cards from 19 countries of concern, their green card applications will be thoroughly reviewed once again. So basically saying that if there are people who are anti-America, whose culture and values do not fit into a Western civilization, will essentially be, I guess, cancelled. I don't know what they're going to do, but they have announced a review of over 250,000 green card applications by people from 19 countries of concern. Most of them are from Africa and countries from where travel has already been banned in the past by Donald Trump. But he has exempted India as well as Pakistan from this particular evaluation of green cards. But this particular announcement is the announcement that I want to talk about today. And I find that quite interesting and perplexing. Trump says US to permanently pause migration from all third world countries. So the steps that he wants to take is that he wants to stop migration from third world countries. He wants to check all people all over again. He wants to denaturalize people. He wants to deport people, etc. Well, I really don't understand what it is. Donald Trump got elected on two platforms. One was to make America great, to make America's economy successful, to fight inflation that he keeps calling as a Biden inflation, etc. It's nearly a year since he was elected in office. He has already put in about 10 months. The inflation is not going down. People are unhappy. The unemployment has actually increased. So as far as the economy is concerned, most Americans, nearly 70% of Americans, are unhappy with it. And then there is also the risk that health insurances will be lost. Insurances are up, car insurances, health insurances. The amount of car insurance payments that I make, I used to buy cars in that much money. Now I pay that much money in insurance. I'm paying about $4,000 in car insurance per year. And I remember buying a very decent Camry when I was grad student for $4,000. So so yes, there is the cost of living has really gone up. This whole slogan on which Mamdani won the mayorship of New York on affordability. Americans are feeling that life in America is unaffordable, and Donald Trump's presidency has achieved nothing. On top of that, his tariffs regime, which he thinks is going to create billions and billions of dollars of wealth, he has said that he's going to eliminate income tax for everybody. And then on top of that, we're going to get $2,000 for each of the citizens because he has collected so much of tariffs. All of that is talk. We have not seen any of those checks. And the in a couple of months, the tax season begins, and we've not seen any elimination of income tax from this country at all. But the most important thing is that inflation is not down, cost of living is not down, rents is not down, insurance is not down. The mortgage prices are so phenomenally high that young people just cannot even think of buying their houses. My daughter lives in New York, and so I was taking a walk with her in her neighborhood. We were walking to a restaurant, and we saw some nice little houses. And I said, her rent is more than my mortgage. So I live in a very nice house here, Alhamdulillah. But she lives uh, in an apartment, and her rent is more than the mortgage that I pay. And so while we were walking, this is in one of the suburbs in New York, I said, why don't you buy one of these houses, and instead of paying rent, you can pay mortgage? And she says, Abad, do you know how much these things cost? These things cost millions of dollars. And I was stunned that places that look smaller than my house cost millions of dollars, and the interest rates are about 6 to 7%. So for young people, even if they have good jobs and are getting paid well, cannot afford to buy a house. So basically what has happened is cost of living in America has gone through the roof, and Donald Trump has done really nothing. So his platform of making America economically prosperous, to make America rich, to make life affordable, all of those promises he has failed across the board. In fact, Newt Gingrich just wrote an article on Fox News saying that the Republican Party will potentially be basically will be just devastated in the coming election if they don't fix the economy. So far, when Trump's allies and partners and his members, when they come on the stage to talk about it, they keep blaming Biden. Even for this particular shooter, they try to blame Biden, even though his asylum, he received asylum, was under the Trump administration. So I don't know how long Donald Trump is going to just keep passing the buck and saying, oh, it's because of the Biden administration that the economy is not doing well, even though he has made so many decisions which deal directly with the economy. And because his economic agenda is failing, he's focusing on foreign policy and on hate policy. And he's targeting immigrants and foreigners, most vulnerable communities, targeting obviously Muslims, but everybody else. And so this whole talk of his reaction to this shooting, look, thousands and thousands of Afghans worked for the United States. They worked with the US and became US allies and fought with the US against the Taliban. The US, under Donald Trump, made a deal with the Taliban, and the US withdrew. And these people who were stupid and foolish enough to partner with the US, they should read the history, what happened to the Iraqis. The Americans abandoned the Iraqis who collaborated with the US and supported the US in the first Gulf War. So anyway, these Afghans worked with the United States, and now we have simply abandoned them. This is going to be a huge national security challenge in future if the United States needs people to support them. And then we'll say, okay, we want you to take risks with your lives, and we want you to risk your family, fight with us for our cause, and then we will abandon you one fine day and walk away. Now these Afghans can't live in Afghanistan under the Taliban government. So there are thousands of Afghans here who are contributing to the economy, doing well. They are investing, and all of them are now going to suffer because of this one person, and we don't even know why he did it. The other thing is targeting. Like, for example, Donald Trump said he's going to see. The problem is that these reactions are just to make his supporters happy, a MAGA crowd. They seem to become happy when the Trump administration does something cruel and horrible to foreigners. That's it. They seem to be happy with him. Okay, we are unhappy, the food is expensive, the price of things are not going down, but at least he's screwing foreigners. So that makes them apparently happy. That's what he thinks. So he says, oh, I'm going to stop all migration from third world. He said, oh, I'm going to stop H1B. We're going to impose $100,000 fee on H1B visa. Then he backtracks. He backtracks by saying, okay, we will not charge for you if you're renewing. Oh, we will not charge you if you are a student, and so on and so forth. And so that H1B's $100,000 application fee has been removed on several people, and then made it a one-time application fee. If you remember, Howard Lutnick said repeatedly that it would be every year, and they reversed all of that. And then Donald Trump had this huge moment with on Fox News where he said that Americans do not have talent, and therefore we have to bring people on H1B from overseas, mostly from India. Well, is India a third world country? If you're going to stop all migration from developing nations, will that also be from India? And will that mean there will be no H1B? So, where is the talent going to come, which Donald Trump says is not available in America? This is what his tech companies are saying. This is what Elon Musk is saying to him. This is what probably the CEO of Google and Apple are telling him, and he has convinced now that there is no talent. If the talent is coming from the third world country, is he going to stop all migration from third world country? So I don't know why he would make a statement like that. He thinks that his supporters and his followers are stupid, dumb people who would be so thrilled with him because A, he's not going to act on it, B, he's going to reverse it. The third thing, if you remember, he went after international students and said, oh, why are we recruiting international students? Went after Harvard for having so many international students. And then he says, we are going to have all this vetting. And for a short while, Marco Rubio acted as if he was Dean of Academic Affairs, canceled thousands of student visas. They put all kinds of restrictions, said, we are going to look at uh, uh, your social media, and depending on how you basically, whether you're critical of Israel or not, if you're critical of Israel, we're not going to give you a student visa. So they made all of these criteria, and basically to say, no, we'll keep all the great American universities for American students only, no foreign students, and reduce. For example, 1/3 of Indian students got their visa applications rejected, and then indefinitely did not give appointments to thousands of it in students, mostly people who suffered, people who are suffering as a result of H1B and international students, by and large, are Indians, because India sends a large component of students here, and a lot of people who come here to work are on H1B. But then Donald Trump comes back and says that he is going to bring in 600,000 international students from China. Why? He just announced that last month, 600,000 international students from China, because American universities are suffering. So if American universities are suffering, he doesn't want American universities to collapse. He wants foreign students to come here. Great. Aren't they coming from a developing country? Aren't they coming from third world countries? Are the Chinese students compatible with Western civilizations? Because once they are here, they will automatically be eligible to apply for H1B according to his rules, will not have to pay $1,000, $100,000 application fee. And you know what? There are 20,000 H1Bs for students who graduate from the United States, and they won't be paying $100,000 fee. And most importantly, Donald Trump, one of his dream projects is this so-called gold card. So you have to give something like $5 million, and you will get a gold card. So it's apparently better than even a green card. So basically, it's like buying a citizenship. There are many countries now who are selling their citizenships or selling their permanent residencies, and given the rise of authoritarianism in most countries, people who can afford it are looking at alternatives or to have like a second citizenship. And there are people in India who have lots of money, lots of people in Pakistan, in other third world countries, all the rich people who have $5 million to spare may just say, why not just buy the American gold card? It'll allow us to buy property, it'll allow us to enter the United States without a visa, and so on and so forth. So now, if people from third world countries are willing to buy the gold card, will Donald Trump say no? Howard Luttig was bragging that on day one, we sold what 1,000 green cards, gold cards, and we have raised $5 billion in the first day. All that was just rubbish, bullshit. The gold card actually doesn't exist at the moment. They're trying to process it. They'll have to pass a law, and then it'll come into place. Yes, there might be some people who have applied for it or expressed interest in getting a gold card, but I'm sure all the rich people in the world will say whatever it is. And it's not as if you're giving away $5 million. You're actually investing those $5 million. So you could basically buy a $5 million apartment in New York and get a gold card as a perk. So it's not as if you're giving it away. So I really don't know what this rubbish is. Should we take this whole statement that we are going to stop migration? Nevertheless, this whole issue of migration and illegal migration, criminals labeling anybody who is here undocumented as essentially a horrible, horrible criminal. There is reports now that the FBI is so focused, and the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of Justice are so focused on deportations that they are not actually doing their job, which is finding criminals and handling them. And of course, there's this profound double standard. So, what about the people who share the ethnicity or religion or nationality of the guy who shot the conservative hero, Charlie Kirk? Will his people also be deported? And what is interesting and amusing to me is that both the president and the vice president of the United States are married to immigrants. Melania as well as Usha, both immigrants. They're not children of immigrants. Donald Trump's grandfather migrated to the United States from Germany, but I don't know where his father was born. But anyway, everybody in this country is an immigrant, but the wives of these two gentlemen are immigrants. So it's kind of ironic that he would make this announcement that he's going to get rid of them. So anyway, this is what I wanted to comment on, sort of rant about President Trump's grandiose comments, etc. And he's using this to bring in another 500, shall we say, National Guards into Washington, D.C. There are no questions about this guy was known to the US. Rahmanullah, this fellow who shot the two National Guardsmen, he was known. He was an employee of the US government. He worked for the CIA, for God's sake. So he is in the database of the US intelligence agencies. And so calling him all kinds of terrorists, etc., doesn't make sense. Maybe we should ban the CIA because they brought a terrorist to the United States. Anyway, so that's all I wanted to share. Thank you for watching Conversations. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, press the bell icon, and don't forget to share this with your socio-political network. If there are interesting comments or questions, I'll be happy to answer them. I see there are lots of comments here. Sunny Singh, well, he used the word, so it's up to you to decide whether he's going to include India or not. It is very clearly India is not in the list of concerned countries, but neither is. India's per capita GDP is $2,800. It qualifies as lower middle income economy. So clearly, it's a developing country. Maybe you can't call it third world, but that's what he means. But India is the source of the largest amount of immigrants to the United States these days, both legal and among illegal. There are one. India is the third biggest source of undocumented migrants to the U.S. Now there are about 700,000, according to various government estimates, who have come from India to the U.S. Well, the U.S. is sort of attacking Venezuela. They're shooting the ships. I don't think the U.S. is going to get into a situation like they're hoping that they can create enough pressure and the government there will be some kind of a regime change from the bottom up. But I don't think the United States is going to invade it because first of all, MAGA doesn't like all of this. They don't like foreign entanglements. They are more concerned about what's happening in the domestic politics. They already hate the U.S. involvement in the Middle East as well as in Ukraine. And so this will be another additional unnecessary involvement. And if, God forbid, some Americans die in an invasion, then it's going to backfire on Donald Trump very close to the midterm election. So I don't think he's going to do it. Plus, it will also undermine his claim to, I'm a president of peace. I won the Nobel Prize. I mean, I've never seen anyone demand an award like him. Yes, Sunny Singh. This is exactly the point. He wants to distract from the failures, the economic failures of his administration. Yeah, and Argentina is another. I mean, it's a very nice place. I spent 2 weeks in Argentina teaching as a chair of American foreign policy at a very nice university in Buenos Aires. But it's a failed economy, and the U.S. is trying to resuscitate it only because the president is like Donald Trump, President Milei of Argentina, hardcore Zionist. That's why we are giving away $20 billion because he says he supports Israel. But this guy, Argentina, you must remember, reduced the prices of soya beans and started selling them to China and hurt American farmers. Yet, the U.S. is trying to save him. Mm. That's a good point. Yeah, I did make that him, and he at least acknowledged now. It really upset MAGA, and I mean, I saw that interview where he said it, and I could see the host. I mean, they are all big fans of Trump, and they're all afraid to be critical of him. But she did look quite upset. So Laura, whatever her name is, I think once the deal is made with India, Donald Trump will probably start saying all nice things about Modi and Indian economy. And I heard that there is some partnership going on between Trump's family and the Ambanis too. So we'll see what happens. I don't know why Taliban would offer India the Bagram airbase. This would create a huge problem, not only for Pakistan, but for the United States too. If India takes charge of Bagram airbase, it will be the US will see that as a very anti-US move. Not only that, but China will also see that as a very unwelcome move, and the Taliban will immediately lose a lot of support from China, from Pakistan, whatever they get, and make immediate enemies of the U.S. It would be very stupid of that, and India doesn't do much for Afghanistan. Gives them a little money. $1 billion is what India invested in the past, and the US was giving more than $1 billion a week. So I don't know what it'll give India obviously a strategic advantage to be able to attack Pakistan from that side of it, but would Afghanistan want to be part of that? Plus, on top of that, if Pakistan attacks Afghanistan, will India then start fighting because it has a base there to defend? So it creates lots of geopolitical questions. I don't think it is going to happen. But you can't say the world is so crazy these days. Uh, Sunny, I don't know what the deep state is. Yeah, the deep state allowed Trump to win elections. The deep state allowed Joe Biden to win elections. If the deep state is so powerful, then why can't it achieve lots of other things? Uh, I don't know. Deep state is a concept we resort to when we can't explain a particular political phenomena. Yeah, this is a shameless. This administration is very corrupt. I mean, his family is making a lot of money with some of his foreign policy. I mean, Pakistan is a very good example, and the cryptocurrency deal between his family and the Pakistanis is quite clear what's happening there. Hi, Biden damaged the US these past 4 years. Trump has been in office only 10 months. What do you people expect? Magic? We did not abandon these foreigners. Just don't come here. Must most get on well. We did not abandon these foreigners. We abandoned millions of them there. Yes, Biden was there for 4 years, but this deal was, with Afghanistan was made by Donald Trump. Biden didn't execute the withdrawal well. That's all. But the agreement was with the Taliban was made with Donald Trump. And how long do you think will Donald Trump? Donald Trump said on day one, I will end the war in Russia and Ukraine. Did you vote him because of that? Well, it's 10 months. He hasn't achieved that. He said that the economy will do well. In fact, he's saying that this is the hottest country. Do you feel that this is the hottest country? Why do Americans not find it convincing? And I don't know how long should we wait before we decide that Donald Trump is not doing well. That's a very good question, Hanley. Why not stay in your country? Most of these countries have been invaded by the United States. Why did you go to Afghanistan? Why didn't you stay in your own country? We went and invaded all these countries. We colonized all of these countries. And therefore, there is this return. There is a connection to that. Plus, let me tell you this much. When I was in engineering college, every week, once I reached the third year, I used to get these many it used to be physical mail. I used to get this many envelopes every week from American universities asking me to apply for a master's program in engineering, asking me to apply for a PhD program in engineering, and so on and so forth. So don't assume that everybody here came just like that. The US created the H1-B visa to bring talent from the rest of the world. Didn't Donald Trump say that there is no talent in America, so we are getting people from outside? They're not coming here just like that. You're going and literally inviting them and giving them a lot of money to come over here. So this whole idea that, oh, why are they coming here? Uh, it's not a logical argument. The United States is also going there and making these pitches all the time. When I travel as a professor at my university, I'm always looking for talent. Whenever I see smart students, etc., I invite them to apply for PhD programs here because we want talented people to come here. So I don't know what this attitude is. Shut down. Don't have visas. Don't have embassies in other countries. Why are we giving billions of dollars to other countries? Why are we protecting all of Europe? Why do we have NATO? Why do we have dual citizenship? You think those third world countries made America get dual citizenship policy? No, India doesn't have a dual citizenship policy, but the Americans have. Who passed these laws? Oh, this is a very interesting question. Marjorie Taylor Greene's resignation is very interesting. She's basically she's highlighting the tension inside the MAGA. Donald Trump said America first, but since he became president, everything he's doing in the Middle East is all Israel first. Everything is doing, giving away billions of dollars. When Saudi prince came here, he behind doors tried to pressure him to recognize Israel. what are you, like a paid agent of Israel? So they are very upset that he said he would end the war. He didn't. He's still supplying weapons to Ukraine, threatening to impose more and more sanctions on behalf of Ukraine on Russia. He imposed sanctions on India and spoiled relations with India to advance Ukraine. So it's all foreign. He wants a Nobel Prize. So he seems to be obsessed with foreign policy. On a daily basis, we see him interacting with foreigners. So a lot of MAGA people are saying, where is America first in these policies? Look at the cost of living at home. Affordability has become a big crisis at home, and all Donald Trump is doing is trying to make Israel more acceptable in the Middle East, or is trying to work on the sovereignty of Ukraine, etc., or Taiwan for that matter. So there's an internal division inside Ukraine. And then on top of that, uh, all of these people from Kash Patel onwards said, oh, as soon as Donald Trump gets elected, we will release the Epstein files. And they accused the Democrats of being pedophiles and this and that. And now that Donald Trump is president, he's trying his best to hide the Epstein file issue. And the question is why and how things are coming up. Apparently, there were Indian government people also who were even involved in it. And there are clear indications that the Donald Trump is protecting some of his donors who are in the Epstein files. This is not what MAGA had voted him upon. So there are lots of internal issues inside MAGA itself. And so, and then if you are critical of Donald Trump, then the MAGA crowd comes after you. And so there's absolutely, like, for example, America's genius of America's government is the division of powers between the three branches of the government. So the executive is held accountable to the Congress makes the laws, the Congress calls the budget, the executive does the job, and then the Supreme Court and the judiciary reviews whether they are all doing this according to the Constitution or not. But since the Republicans control both the Senate and the House, we actually don't have two branches of government. We have only one branch of government, the executive, and the Congress has become irrelevant. So they have completely destroyed the genius of the US government, and they are afraid. So when there are people like Marjorie Taylor Greene who stand up, there were 4 Republicans who voted and forced the Epstein files. I think the other one was Nancy Grace, and that four Republicans. Otherwise, the Epstein files would not be released. With all the talk of releasing Epstein files, from Pam Bondi to Kash Patel, the Epstein files which are coming out now are because of Democrats in the House. So Marjorie Taylor Greene was then accused of being a traitor, etc., etc. So she's feeling threatened. So there are 2 theories. One, she's leaving because she's unable to do what she wants to do, which is America first. The other argument is that maybe she has bigger dreams. Maybe she's going to run for president in 2028, or perhaps governor of Georgia. We'll see what happens ultimately. But her resignation date is 2 days after she qualifies for a full pension as a congressperson. So she's being smart about it. India has already done that. Go and read my article in The Diplomat about how India has preemptively bent the knee. So when Narendra Modi came to the United States in February, he had already reduced tariffs on many goods. India has now stopped buying Russian oil. India is now also going to buy some soya meal, not soya beans, but soya meal. And so, yes, India has already bent the knee to Donald Trump in many ways. Anyway, thank you for watching Conversations, and please subscribe to the channel, like this video, share this with your social political network. Until next time, I'm your host Muqtadar Khan, and my next video will be on Putin's visit to India, and I also have something to say about what's happening in Ukraine. So please stay tuned. So what's coming next? I did publish an article yesterday in Frontline magazine, based on my visit and my tour of East Asia. I went to Hong Kong, Shenzhen, Beijing, and Seoul. So please read that article. You can read it on the posts on the YouTube channel. If you're watching this on LinkedIn, I have already applied a link to that. So thank you for watching. Until next time, I'm your host Muqtadar Khan. Take care.